the season, I guess, we had a quick stint of practice before we got into LCS, and we ended up having one day with Ole before getting him on stage. So I didn't have really high hopes for like really impressive clean victories or anything immediately, but I sort of saw a lot of potential in the players, a lot of like potential in the infrastructure and how the organization's run. So I guess I was always kind of excited, and yeah, I guess that's to where we are now.
At the beginning of the season, I was hoping to at least make it into the playoffs. Like I wasn't sure how well things would go, and I think right now we're meeting that expectation. So
we're sort of an emotional team where I'm a vocal leader, Eugene's a vocal leader, but Eugene is a consistent vocal leader. Like no matter what kind of state the game is in, he's always going to talk the same amount, and he's going to always talk about the plan. But if I'm falling behind or if something goes wrong, I'm going to talk less and less and less, because the communication that comes from me when I'm falling behind, it's really pinpointed on me getting back ahead. So I kind of just commentate from my point of view what it feels like. So I'm just like, it feels really bad, I need to farm. And that doesn't really say, like, it's not like where Eugene will say like, we're behind right now, we're just going to put down defensive pinks and we're going to play around our vision and look for a way back into the game. I'm going to say I need to farm. So it's like that kind of thing, it's not very good for me. So like when we fall behind, I just kind of pass the baton to Pobelter and Ole, and they take over. And then when we get back into the game, I take the baton back, and then I kind of shock all us through having an advantage.
Our biggest strength of our team is being able to pull the trigger. So we're very proactive, we're very capable of, when we see an opportunity, we jump right on it, and we do it as 5 people, as opposed to 2 or just 3 people. We're very good to communicate when we're ahead and close out a game, and I think that we have some hardworking, raw, talented people that have a point to prove because they have a chip on their shoulder.
I think the players are all incredibly individually talented, and as far as when it comes to execution, there are 1v1s, there are 2v2s, these small skirmishes, and being able to outplay their peers is remarkable. I don't think a lot of other rosters can really brag about that.
In terms of the meta, there's good things about it and bad things about it, because the meta right now, there's a lot of carry junglers, which is good for Dardoch because he's really good at playing those kinds of characters. For top, it's kind of just always been the same it's always been, but Flame, he's really good at tanks and also really good at carries. For AD actually, Cody's had a bit of a harder time than most rookies are in their first season actually, because right now the AD meta is really playmaking AD carries like Ashen, Varus, kind of Sivir. And for all of those champions, you need to have really good knowledge of the game and how to start fights and things like that. So it's kind of unfortunate that he's had to go through that, but he's been doing a good job at it.
Cody was sort of maybe a big fish in a small pond in the challenger scene. He had a lot of individual ability to carry games and sort of run around the map and do whatever he wanted. And I think he's sort of seen maybe the harder way in LCS that isn't the case. So I think it was probably a bit of a shock for him moving between Challenger and LCS. But I think he does show a lot of potential, and he's adjusting quite well. I think day to day he's sort of picking things up.
Cody's gotten so much better from when he first started. At the beginning he was not the best, and now he's doing really well, carrying games sometimes. So I'm really proud of the growth he's had, and it's only halfway through Spring Split, so he's just going to keep getting better.
I think at all particular points in the game and in the season, we've had people that have stepped up in terms of communication. They're or can be very, very vocal in the game when it comes to their particular role or to a particular situation. Josh and Eugene are probably the most vocal shot callers. Flame has a wealth of information and experience, and he wants to get that across in the game. But as he's learning English, it's a slow process, but he's getting better and better. And then Ole and Cody, we're empowering them to speak more and more, because even though they're not naturally as loud, they can still contribute a lot to the game. And Cody and Ole have also shown that at particular points on stage, they can be extremely loud, and that's really good for the team.
I think we knew going into Spring Split that our roster this year wouldn't have the same day one chemistry that we found last year. That kind of thing is just really uncommon. But when we built the roster for Immortals for Spring Split, we weren't just thinking about Spring Split. For us, last year was a really kind of grim reminder that your performance in the regular season during the splits doesn't actually matter all that much when it comes to playoffs performances or making it to Worlds at the end of the year. Because even though there's a roster you can build that will be really, really good to start the split, that roster's ceiling is probably a lot lower than the roster that we actually constructed. We optimized for a roster that would continue to better themselves as time goes on because of their rock-solid work ethics, because of their drive and their hunger for victory. Sure, they might not have had the same day one chemistry that our boys brought for us last year, but they also will find that chemistry and continue to grow. They bring an incredible amount of individual skill to the table from day one, and they learn and they grow together, and they eventually potentially reach a higher point than our roster from last year did.